welcome to part 2 of how to apply for the skill nominated visa in Tasmania. Hopefully you guys saw my video for part 1. That was a completely different stream, and in today's video we're going to talk about the stream 2 under the skilled nominated visa in Tasmania. It is called the Tasmanian Skilled Graduate Pathway. So it's for people who studied and lived in Tasmania. We'll go through all the requirements, but as always you need to first meet the federal requirements. So you must be under 45 years of age, score at least 65 points and have at least competent English, which is 6 in each band for IELTS. First of all, you need to meet those ones. You then need to at least have a valid skills assessment in an occupation, but we'll talk about those requirements after. Now, before I jump into it, I have released my mini courses on courses.tracymigration.com.au, so go and check it out. We have so many exciting things that we're releasing at the moment. If you want to get in contact with myself or one of our fantastic lawyers, our contact details are below. And as always, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with people who need it. So specifically, 190 visa in Tasmania under the Tasmania Graduate Pathway. First of all occupations are eligible for this pathway. However, we also need to look at how that ties in with the green and gold attributes afterwards as well. So first of all, you must have completed your studies in Tasmania and obtained a letter of completion from a tertiary institution that's registered with CRICOS. Second of all, you must have completed this study and lived in Tasmania for the past 2 years. And that has to be from right at the start of your course to the end of the course. Your course must be AQF diploma or higher, or at least a certificate 3 or 4 if it's related to an ANSCO major group 3 or 4 occupation and you're eligible for a skills assessment in an occupation on the skilled occupation list. That's how that all ties in. Your course must have been completed full-time on-site in Tasmania, and you must be living in Tasmania and intend to continue to. Tasmania is a difficult one because they only want people who genuinely want to stay there. And a lot of, young migrants, they go there just to get the migration and then they relocate. So that's why Tasmania is kind of making it harder and harder to get the visa there, because they just know that a lot of the younger migrants don't really want to stay there. So it's not fair for the migrants to kind of use it for the migration program, right? If you want to stay in Melbourne and Sydney, you might as well try Melbourne and Sydney. But if you're going to try in Tasmania, then they do want you to stay there. So, something to really consider. Plus, it's not that easy just to go to Tasmania to wait it out and get the invitation and get the visa. Like, it's going to take like 1 to 2 years. And if Tasmania is not for you, it could be very hard. Now, the other thing is, if you are a PhD candidate in Tasmania, but you didn't do any of your undergraduate degrees in Tasmania, you can still be eligible for this pathway as long as you completed the first 2 years full-time on-site in Tasmania. Now, previously I did mention that you must have completed the course 2 years full-time on-site in Tasmania. However, there are some exemptions for people who are unable to travel to Tasmania to study due to the border restrictions during the whole COVID-19 pandemic. So that's something to look into if that's you. So you must meet those requirements. First of all, if you meet those requirements, you have passed the first part. Okay, what do we call this? I wouldn't say it's a bottleneck. I'd say the attributes are more of the bottleneck. Well, you passed the first part, the first one I said, and now the second part. Now the third part, which is really going to indicate whether you're going to get an invitation and how long that would take. So I won't talk about green because I talked about green in my last one. For example, for gold, you must have a skills assessment and related employment and at least 3 months of work experience in an occupation on the critical roles list. Simple. If you have gold, you're gonna get invited. So I'll go through some of the orange. So orange is probably like third. So if it's on the tally, obviously if you have gold, you're gonna be invited first. Green, pretty easily as well. I spoke about green in the last video. And then here for orange, probably later on. But let's discuss some of the orange so we can get an idea of what it's like. And remember, to be classified as a gold attribute or a green attribute or whatever it is, you only need 1. So if you have like 3 orange, but 1 green, you're a green. So you definitely go for the green. And it's not like the more attributes you have, the better. As long as you have 1, I think they classify everyone the same, from what I've heard anyway. So what are the orange attributes? So on top of your skills assessment and everything else we just mentioned, you have been employed in Tasmania for the past 3 months in a job that is listed as a skill level ANSCO 1 to 3, but you don't have a skills assessment in that, which is fine. That is 1 orange attribute. Another orange attribute is that you've been employed in Tasmania for the past 6 weeks in the same industry as your skills assessment or Tasmanian study. And there's another one. You have evidence of job interviews with at least 2 well-established Tasmanian businesses. Those Tasmanian businesses must have been operating in Tasmania for the past 3 years, and you have a skills assessment related to that occupation. I've heard, according to the case officers in Tasmania, that Tasmania is very small. So of course, there's a lot of great businesses in Tasmania, but there have been some set up for purposes of migration. I have no idea who does that kind of stuff, but there is. And so they're well aware of those businesses. I've seen them. I've seen, people come to us at consults and they're like, I work for this company. And it's very obvious when they don't, because I ask them information about the company they don't know. I ask them how much is their salary, they don't know. So it's just these things to be very careful of, because the case managers are out to kind of not invite these people. So very important. So it has to be a well-respected, established business. Another orange attribute is that you must have lived in Tasmania for the past 4 years, or that you haven't actually lived in any other state in Australia. That's another attribute as well, an orange one. So I guess a lot of people can collect a lot of orange attributes, but just remember, if you're submitting with only orange attributes, you're probably going to be third in line to be invited. So your invitation is going to take much, much longer. Green and gold, couple of days, couple of weeks. Orange, maybe months towards the end of the financial year. So that was very simple. That is the Tasmanian graduate pathway for the 190 visa. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the third stream. The third stream is the Tasmanian established resident pathway. Now this one is a very good one. However, the requirements are pretty clear, so you do have to meet them to be invited under this stream. But anyways, I hope you guys found that video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.